Welcome, friend, to Dream Bites, a podcast where the magic of storytelling meets the power of imagination. Each episode is a warm invitation to explore a world unlike any other, carefully crafted to transport you to new realms of wonder. So, find a cozy spot, settle in, and let the friendly voice of our narrator be your guide on this exciting adventure. And now, dear listener, it's time to embark on today's delightful story.
The Haunted Schoolhouse. Chapter 1. The Dare. Lucy and Jamie were playing in their secret treehouse when they heard the older kids talking below. "I heard the old schoolhouse is haunted," whispered one boy, his voice carried by the wind. "No way, you're just trying to scare us," replied another. Lucy's eyes sparkled with excitement. She loved a good mystery. "Jamie, did you hear that? A haunted schoolhouse. We have to check it out." Jamie pushed his glasses up his nose and frowned. "I don't know, Lucy. It sounds dangerous. What if there are really ghosts?" "Oh, come on. It'll be an adventure," Lucy insisted, already climbing down the ladder, its wooden rungs creaking beneath her sneakers. Reluctantly, Jamie followed his best friend. He knew once Lucy set her mind to something, there was no stopping her. They snuck out that afternoon, backpacks filled with flashlights and snacks. The old schoolhouse loomed at the end of a forgotten street, its windows dark and lifeless. Overgrown weeds sprawled across the yard, their leaves rustling in the eerie stillness. Lucy marched ahead, her ponytail bouncing with each step. Jamie trudged behind, his stomach twisting into knots. As they reached the rusty fence surrounding the schoolhouse, its hinges squealing in protest, Lucy turned to Jamie with a grin. "Ready?" Jamie swallowed hard, looking up at the imposing building. Shadows seemed to dance in the dusty windows, as if beckoning them closer. He wanted to be brave like Lucy, but his knees wobbled at the thought of what might lurk inside. Taking a deep breath, he nodded. "Ready." Together they pushed open the creaky gate and stepped into the schoolhouse's eerie shadow. The wind whistled through the broken windows, carrying whispers of the past. Unaware of the ghostly eyes watching them from above, Lucy and Jamie ventured forward, their heartbeats echoing in the unnatural silence. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Halls. As Lucy and Jamie stepped into the old schoolhouse, a musty smell filled their noses. Dust particles danced in the thin beams of light that peeked through boarded-up windows. The floorboards groaned beneath their feet, echoing through the empty halls. "Whoa!" Lucy breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Look at all this old stuff!" She ran her fingers along a row of rusty lockers, leaving trails in the thick layer of dust. Jamie huddled close to Lucy, his gaze darting nervously around the dim interior. "It's really creepy in here," he whispered, his voice trembling slightly. "Maybe we should go back." Lucy shook her head, her face set with determination. "No way! We can't turn back now. Let's explore a little more." She pulled a flashlight from her backpack and clicked it on, illuminating the shadowy corridor ahead. As they ventured deeper into the schoolhouse, strange whispers seemed to flutter past their ears. Jamie jumped, his heart pounding. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his eyes wide. Lucy paused, straining to listen. The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like an icy breeze. She shivered, goosebumps prickling her arms. "I heard it too. It sounded like voices." Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught their attention. Shadows darted across the walls, taking the shape of children running and playing. Lucy and Jamie froze, their hearts racing with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Lucy, I don't like this," Jamie whimpered, tugging at his friend's sleeve. "Those shadows, they're not normal." Lucy swallowed hard, trying to be brave, but the eerie whispers and ghostly shadows were starting to chip away at her courage. "We'll be okay," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "We're in this together." Jamie hesitated, torn between his loyalty to Lucy and his growing fear. He took a deep breath, gathering his courage. "Okay," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But let's be careful." Hand in hand, Lucy and Jamie pressed on, their flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. The whispers grew more insistent, and the shadowy figures became clearer with each step. As they rounded a corner and entered an old classroom, they found themselves face to face with the ghostly students of the Haunted Schoolhouse. Lucy gasped, her grip tightening on Jamie's hand. The room was filled with translucent children, their faces etched with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. Jamie's knees buckled, and he clung to Lucy, his heart pounding in his chest. In that moment, as the living and the dead stared at each other across the dusty classroom, Lucy and Jamie realized that their adventure was about to take an unexpected turn. The Haunted Schoolhouse held secrets waiting to be uncovered, and the ghostly students were the key to solving the mystery. Chapter 3: Ghosts of the Past. Lucy and Jamie stood frozen, their hearts pounding as they faced the ghostly students. The translucent children stared back, their forms shimmering like mist in the faded light. The room fell silent, save for the soft, otherworldly whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Slowly, a ghost girl with pigtails and a gossamer dress stepped forward, her head tilted to the side. "You're not supposed to be here," she said, her voice echoing with an ethereal quality. Lucy swallowed hard, forcing herself to be brave. "We heard this place was haunted," she replied, her voice wavering slightly. "We wanted to see if it was true." The ghost girl's face softened, a small smile playing at the corners of her spectral lips. "It's been so long since anyone has visited us," she said wistfully, her words carrying a hint of melancholy. "We get lonely sometimes." Jamie, still clinging to Lucy's hand, found his voice. How long have you been here?" he asked, his eyes wide behind his glasses. The ghost girl shrugged, her form rippling like water. "Time doesn't mean much to us anymore," she replied, her voice distant. "But we remember attending class, playing games in the schoolyard, and then—" Her voice trailed off, and a flicker of sadness passed over her translucent features. The other ghostly students gathered closer, their expressions mirroring hers, their forms shimmering in and out of focus. "And then what?" Lucy prompted gently, her fear giving way to empathy. "We don't know," another ghost boy answered, his voice a mere whisper on the wind. "One day we were just stuck here. We couldn't leave, couldn't move on." Lucy and Jamie exchanged a glance, their hearts heavy with the weight of the ghost's plight. In that moment, they knew they couldn't just walk away and leave these lost souls trapped in the schoolhouse. "Maybe we can help," Lucy said, her voice growing stronger with determination. "There must be a reason why you're still here, something unfinished that's keeping you tied to this place." The ghostly students looked at each other, a flicker of hope sparking in their translucent eyes. "You would do that?" the pigtailed girl asked, her voice trembling with emotion. "You would help us?" Jamie nodded, his fear replaced by a sense of purpose. "Of course," he said, managing a small smile. "That's what friends do." As the words left his lips, a warm glow seemed to fill the room, emanating from the ghostly children themselves. Their forms became more distinct, their features more defined, as if the promise of friendship had breathed new life into their spectral bodies. In that moment, Lucy and Jamie realized that by opening their hearts to these lost souls, they had forged a bond that transcended the boundary between life and death. The whispers that once seemed eerie now carried a tone of hope, a promise of a brighter future. And so, with renewed determination, the living children and the ghostly students began to unravel the mystery that had trapped them in the schoolhouse for so long, their friendship growing stronger with each passing moment, each shared secret, and each whispered laugh that echoed through the halls of the Haunted Schoolhouse. Chapter 4: The Plan. Lucy and Jamie sat cross-legged on the dusty classroom floor, surrounded by the ghostly students. The ethereal children looked at them with hopeful eyes, their translucent forms flickering in the dim light. "So," Lucy began, tapping her chin thoughtfully, "we need to figure out what's keeping you all trapped here. Does anyone remember anything specific from when you were alive?" The ghosts murmured amongst themselves, their whispers echoing off the old walls. Finally, a boy with a newsboy cap spoke up. "I remember Miss Willows, our teacher. She was always so kind to us." "That's it!" Lucy exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Maybe there's something in the classroom that can help us, like an old yearbook or a class photo." Jamie, catching on to Lucy's train of thought, jumped to his feet. "I think I saw a bookshelf in the back of the room. Let's check there. The two friends hurried to the shelf, their ghostly companions watching with bated breath. Lucy ran her fingers along the dusty spines until she spotted a faded leather-bound book. "Look, Jamie, a yearbook!" They carefully pulled the book from the shelf and began flipping through the yellowed pages. The ghostly students crowded around, pointing out their own faces and sharing memories of their long-ago classmates. Laughter and tears mingled as they reminisced about the happy times they had shared. As they neared the end of the book, a folded piece of paper fluttered to the floor. Jamie picked it up, his eyes widening as he read the contents. "It's a letter from Miss Willows. She wrote about how much she loved teaching you all, and how she hoped you would always remember the happy times you shared." The ghosts' faces lit up with recognition and emotion. "That's it," the pigtailed girl whispered. "We need to find a way to let Miss Willows know that we remember her and that we're okay." Lucy and Jamie exchanged a determined look. "We'll help you," Lucy promised. "We can write a message back to Miss Willows and leave it here in the classroom. Maybe that will help you find peace." The ghostly students nodded eagerly, their hopes rising with each passing moment. Together, the living children and the spirits began to craft a heartfelt letter, pouring their memories and gratitude onto the page. As the sun began to set outside the old windows, painting the room in a warm golden glow, Lucy and Jamie knew they were racing against time. But with the power of their friendship and the guidance of the ghostly students, they were determined to see their mission through. Jamie's hand shook slightly as he folded the letter, tucking it carefully back inside the yearbook. "Do you think this will work?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Lucy placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, her eyes shining with determination. "It has to," she said firmly. "We can't let them down now." With the letter safely nestled in the yearbook, Lucy and Jamie prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead. The ghostly students gathered around them, their translucent faces glowing with hope and gratitude. As the last rays of sunlight faded from the room, the living and the dead stood united, bound by the power of friendship and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Together, they would face whatever obstacles stood in their way, determined to unravel the mystery of the haunted schoolhouse and bring peace to the lost souls who called it home. Chapter 5. The Power of Friendship. Lucy and Jamie worked diligently, helping each ghostly student with their unfinished business. They started with Thomas, the boy in the newsboy cap. "I never got to tell my best friend Charlie how much his friendship meant to me," Thomas confessed, his voice heavy with regret. Lucy smiled warmly. "We'll find a way to let him know." She and Jamie searched the old desks until they discovered a faded class photo with Thomas and Charlie arm in arm, their grins bright and carefree. Lucy carefully penned a heartfelt note from Thomas, pouring his unspoken gratitude onto the page. They tucked the note and photo into Charlie's old desk, hoping the message would find its way to the other side. As they moved on to Eliza, the pigtailed girl, Jamie couldn't help but chuckle. "I never thought I'd be playing ghostly matchmaker," he said, shaking his head in amusement. Eliza giggled, her laughter like the tinkling of wind chimes. "I never got to return my favourite library book," she admitted, her translucent cheeks turning a soft shade of pink. "It was The Secret Garden, and I loved it so much." Lucy and Jamie combed the dusty shelves of the school library until they found the well-worn copy of the classic novel. They slipped a note inside, written in Eliza's voice, thanking the librarian for sharing the magic of books with her. One by one, the ghostly students shared their unfinished business, and one by one, Lucy and Jamie found clever and heartfelt ways to help. They delivered long-lost love notes, returned cherished toys, and even staged a puppet show to fulfill a ghost's dream of being an actor. As they worked, the atmosphere in the old schoolhouse began to shift. The once oppressive air grew lighter, filled with the laughter and chatter of the ghostly children. The spirits themselves seemed to grow brighter, their translucent forms taking on a soft, ethereal glow. Finally, as the last spirit found peace, a warm light filled the schoolhouse, growing brighter with each passing second. The ghosts began to float upwards, their joyful laughter ringing through the halls. "Thank you," Thomas said, his voice brimming with gratitude. "We couldn't have done it without you." Lucy and Jamie stood hand in hand, watching in awe as the spirits rose higher and higher, their forms becoming more solid and colourful with each passing moment. Eliza's pigtails turned a vibrant red, and Thomas's newsboy cap looked brand new. "Goodbye," the ghostly students called out, waving as they faded into the light. "Thank you for being our friends." Lucy and Jamie waved until the last glimmer of light disappeared, leaving them in the quiet, peaceful schoolhouse. The once eerie building now felt warm and welcoming, filled with the echoes of joyful laughter and the lingering presence of the spirits they had helped. "Jamie," Lucy said, her voice thick with emotion, "I couldn't have done this without you. You're the bravest, most loyal friend anyone could ask for." Jamie grinned, squeezing Lucy's hand. "And you're the most determined, big-hearted person I know. I'm so glad we did this together." Hand in hand, Lucy and Jamie walked out of the schoolhouse and into the golden sunlight. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would always have each other. With the power of their friendship, they could face anything. As they stepped through the rusty gate, Lucy turned for one last look at the old schoolhouse. It seemed to smile back at her, its windows bright and welcoming, a testament to the incredible journey she and Jamie had shared. With a contented sigh, Lucy turned back to her best friend, ready for whatever new adventure awaited them. Together, they walked down the street, their laughter echoing through the neighborhood, a celebration of the unbreakable bond of true friendship. The end.
And there you have it, dear listener. Another enchanting journey brought to life by the magic of storytelling. We hope that this tale has sparked your imagination and left you with a sense of wonder. As we close this chapter, remember that there's always another story waiting to be discovered. So keep your sense of curiosity alive and join us again for the next episode of Dream Bites. Until then, may your own adventures be filled with the same excitement and delight as the ones we've shared here. And always remember, the power of imagination knows no bounds. Thank you for being a part of the Dream Bites story. See you next time.
Close your eyes, let your mind ignite. The universe of stories shine.